welcome to Volleyball DNA, where we examine the characteristics that make up some of the most intriguing personalities in the world of volleyball. I'm Denise Lazaro.
And I'm Anton Rojas. The subject for this episode is a modern-day Wonder Woman. Her rise to prominence happened at the same time the sport she loves broke barriers and changed its future. She's a symbol of hope, equally fearless and compassionate. The woman in action, Gretchen Ho.
Hello!
Oy!
Hi, Gretch!
Kakamiss kayo.
Oh.
Long
Grabe, sobrang miss ko na kayo. Naka-jacket ako para cool. Pero eto, naka-pajama!
Well, Gretch, it's our Christmas episode. It's also our year-end episode. And we were thinking about, who the best guest is for the show. And since you've been kind of like Santa Claus this whole year, giving out all those bikes and, doing all of your projects to help the community, we thought who better to have than our good friend Gretchen Ho. So thank you so much for the time.
Maraming salamat. Thank you. Na-miss ko kayo sobra. As in, so nice to see you guys. Parang napaka-refreshing kasi alam naman natin, pati yung one of the most affected talaga yung sporting world, no? Like, walang games, walang broadcast, walang everything wiped out. So, just to see you guys doing this, keep nyo na, no? Good job to both of you.
That means a lot coming from you. Very well documented yung buhay mo. I mean, from when you started in Ateneo and then hanggang you entered the world of, shall we say, show business. Very well documented. A lot of people followed you. Pero let's go back. Backtrack tayo ng konti when you were still in Ateneo. You graduated with a degree in one of the hardest courses in Ateneo, Management Engineering. And then you also finished with a degree in ABCom with a minor in Development Management. I mean, who does that? Who does that? I mean, the demands are pretty high as a student. And then you have the responsibilities of an athlete too. How were you able to manage your studies and volleyball?
Ano nga ba? Kasi di ba sa Ateneo, may mga free elective tayo. So, ayoko sayangin yung oras. Sabi ko, magma-minor na lang ako. And then, the com major naman was for my 5th year. Kasi yung ME, bawal siya i-delay. So, you have to graduate with everybody on time. And, pangarap ko yung ME Talagang masasabi ko, one of my proudest achievements. And pag tinatanong ako, ano yung proudest achievement mo? Yung graduating from Management Engineering. Kasi it was really difficult. Talagang sasabi ko parang ginapang ko yun. Hindi naman sa sobrang nahirapan ako, pero mahirap talaga siya. You need other people, you need your blockmates, you need your course mates to finish it with you. And then nakikita mo, diba, nandun ako sa dorm nyo, nakikitulog ako. Tapos, doon pa ako nag-overnight kasi talagang magpupuyat ako. May training kami ng mga, let's say, mga 3 a.m. 4 a.m. pala, 3 a.m. gising.
Wow.
I would do my work, my thesis dun sa dorm kasi ayoko umuwi. Tapos yun nga, nakikigulo ako sa kanila para hindi na ako mahirapan magising. So, time management, ano nga ba? I just didn't have time for social, hindi naman, may social life naman ako, but it was really more university life and org life. And I wanted to make the most out of college back then. Parang sabi ko, kailangan sulitin ko tong experience na to kasi hindi na ako babalik dito. Kaya pati mga orgs, nag-org ako noon. Pero yun, like pareho pa rin naman ako ngayon, tingin ko, hyper pa din, and just trying to make every hour productive.
Okay, just to make it clear, this is a double major. We're talking management engineering and communication. Those are your degrees with a minor in development management. Just out of curiosity, Gretch, what is the normal track of a student who takes this kind of course? Like, ano yung mga trabaho na pwede niyang kunin? Like, if the student was gonna take the normal track. Like, let's say if you took the normal track.
I took the normal track, I would probably be in corporate now. Yung pinaka cream of the crop ng management engineering will go to operations research. Sila yung parang sobrang galing sa mga solutions. May yung ano yun eh. May skill yun eh. Pero iilan lang yun in a certain batch. Other graduates will go to marketing, to finance, to ano pa ba? Consulting. Usually talaga medyo mataas na yung position kasi they give us an overview of how things are in businesses and corporations. So yun yung normal track. I would probably be in Nestle because they were the ones hiring me. Corporate management trainee. And yun, pero ano actually sobrang interesting because looking back, ilan years na ba? 7 years? You know what? I'm using everything, all the courses. I'm using my ME skills. I'm using my development management minor and com skills for this project that I'm doing now. Yung Donate a Bike, Save a Job. So, interesting enough, parang when I got into this project, sabi ko, alam mo, ang tagal ko nang hindi nagiging leader kasi I was a follower for 7 years. I mean, when I went into ABS, syempre, sunod ka sa producer mo, learning ka pa lang everything, you absorb everything, all the information. But when I got into this project, I had to step up as a leader of my team again. So, doon naman pumasok din yung pagiging volleyball player at athlete ko. So, lahat talaga parang hindi ko akalain magagamit ko din down the line.
Okay, we're gonna go back to Donate a Bike, Save a Life later on, Gretch.
Save a life, save a job lang.
That is sort of like saving a life too.
Teka, baka yung expectation.
We're gonna get back to that later, Gretch, to your project. Because we're very excited about that, and that's also one of the reasons why we wanted you as our final guest for the year and for the Christmas time. But I always remember the first Ateneo LaSalle match that I ever covered. Kasi pangarap ng mga broadcaster yun to cover an Ateneo LaSalle in the UAAP. And looking back, the first Ateneo LaSalle I ever did was the Ateneo LaSalle of you guys. Kayo ni Den, when you guys were playing in the Final Four, it was in Phil Oil so many years back. And would you believe the people that showed up during that day, yung gate attendance, 2,124. First ever Ateneo LaSalle in the Final Four. High profile match.
Ba? 2,000
2,000 lang. And I remember, alam mo ba, Gretch, while I was sitting there covering the game, sabi ko, ano ba to? Pangarap ko mag-cover ng Ateneo LaSalle, pero parang, you know, like, this is not the atmosphere of Ateneo LaSalle that I was accustomed to because I was a fan, LaSallian student, nanonood ako. At the time, I did not know na syempre sisikat yung volleyball and the rivalry would be as big, if not even sometimes bigger. But that match was a sign of things to come because you took LaSalle to 5 sets. Tapos the years passed by, naging 5,261 on average the following year nung pumunta kayo sa finals. And then during your final year, Gretch, 17,842, yun yung nagpakita at the MOA Arena for your last match ever. So imagine that, from 2,000 people to 17,000 people, that's how much the game grew during those years. So did you ever imagine, Gretch, na, alam mo yun, like, you're playing volleyball with Den for Ateneo. Did you ever imagine like that the sport would grow exponentially and the players today would have the platform that they have to have a voice and speak out among, you know, everybody in the community?
Sobrang wild, grabe. I mean, if you think about it, that was just, I mean, a span of 7 years. So, 6 to 8 years. And for volleyball to be that popular within that span of time, ang bilis, exponential yung growth. And not just that, I think we're lucky to be in that time. Parang my mom and I were looking back ngayon, parang sabi niya, ang swerte mo, no? Kasi right timing ka. Parang imagine ngayon yung mga athletes ngayon sa pandemic, sobrang, I mean, di ba, the whole season was canceled for next year. And kawawa yung mga nasa high school na papasok pa lang na may pangarap na mag-college. Parang less na yung chances nila ma-discover at this time. Di ba? Parang may matatamaan talaga yung pandemic. And sobrang swerte namin. I mean, I wouldn't say na it was just because of us or because of the rivalry, but it was a multitude of factors that came in perfectly at the right time. Like, for example, yun, Ateneo Lasal. Second was yung kwento namin na parang Fab Five, parang ano kami, David versus Goliath ang datingan. Di ba? Storyline. Pangatlo, magaganda kami lahat. I-claim na natin yan. Pang-apat talaga, alam mo, hindi talaga kami makakarating dito kung wala yung before us. Kasi they were the ones who inspired us to get into collegiate volleyball. Like sila Charo Soriano, sila Chi Saet, sila Michelle Carolino, sila Venus Bernal, Ging Balse. Lahat yung mga yan. Alam mo, idol namin mga yan. Tapos, yung growth ng volleyball, dumating na lang din sa point na ready na siya. And sakto kasi when we were getting attention, Ateneo Lasal happened. So meron na kaming fan base ng Masa. Nung pumutok yung Ateneo Lasal, doon na pumasok yung AB market. And it became relevant across the social classes. And hindi lang yan, meron ka pang babae, meron kang mga lalaki na may gusto tumingin ng babae, meron kang mga bata, tapos meron kang mga Bex, meron kang mga matatandang mga lolo, families. So parang talagang it's a whole family thing. Swerte kami talaga for having witnessed that, but it also I think special din because yung shift nung attention and yung pressure and dealing with all the changes and transitions, we were the ones who absorbed all of that also. Diba then?
Yeah, I agree.
So you have to mature right away. You have to understand the emotional fortitude that it takes. And I think, alam mo, I carried all of that with me to my shift to the media world. Yung training ko as an athlete, yung paano ko na-mold, I think is one of the keys to my successes in the media world. Yun.
I agree with everything you said, with just like the rise of volleyball. It was, a myriad of factors. You always have to look back to how it all began. And we were just really lucky. Yung time natin, it just came together at the right time.
Diba? Oo, wala tayong pinilit, hindi tayo we were just like playing, diba? Walang kamuwang-muwang. Wala naman kaming, hindi naman namin alam na sisikat kami or whatever. Parang, madalas, panay sermon nga sa amin Diba? Parang yun yung mga experience natin So, alam mo yun, parang kami din, kahit nung nagsisimula, nagulat din naman kami at the rise of our own following sa Twitter, sa social media. And when I actually went into showbiz and decided to make a career out of it, parang hindi pa rin ganun ka widely accepted yung pagiging showbiz noon noong time na yun. Naalala ko parang resistant pa medyo 'di ba? Hindi pa siya blend So sabi ko talaga parang I'm determined to show people na when athletes enter the broadcasting world, hindi kami just because dahil may following na kami, hindi ganon. Parang because we really have something to show. And I think parang the people who have went into broadcast have proven that athletes can do it also. Can cover games, can do media work, 'di ba? 'Di ba Dan? Oh.
Abangan.
Those people who paved the way for that.
Well, idol namin kayo, Anton
We have our mentors like Anton. Well, we can't talk about Philippine volleyball popularity without mentioning Coach Roger Gorayen.
Ahaha!
And we had him on the show. And you know what? Until now, he speaks very highly of you and how super thankful for everything that you've done for him, especially with his recent bout with, multiple myeloma. What are your fondest memories of our very dear Coach Roger?
Sermon, joke.
Hindi talaga tatatak sa'yo eh.
Coach Roger, parang tatay na natin yan si Coach Roger eh. Alam mo yon, medyo bugnutin, mainitin ang ulo, pupunta ka ng training, di mo alam kung maabutan mo siyang masaya o galit. Pero alam mo yon, hindi ko makalimutan kasi no, nagsa-start pa lang yung batch namin. We really started from being a cellar dweller, and he was really determined to change the culture in Ateneo and establish a solid volleyball program. Nung start namin, 10 lang kami. Tapos talagang ano kami, tested by fire. Kasi he would really make us do the hardest drills and discipline us, and really, pag meron kaming mga pasaway moves, di nga kami sobrang pasaway, pero grabe talaga yung dinaanan namin with Coach Roger. Even how he tried to bring the best out of us, yung pinipiga ka talaga niya para malabas mo yung galing mo. And sobrang grateful ako kay Coach kasi tumibay yung character ko because of him. And talagang a lot of mental, emotional battles with Coach Roger. Pero I think, yung sabay kayo na mula sa baba, sabay kayo umangat unti-unti papunta sa finals, and nadaanan niyo lahat yon, and nag-grow kayo together. Hindi ko talaga makakalimutan si Coach. Fondest memory, ang dami, sobrang dami. Siguro ito na lang, yung nagka-cancer siya. Yun, nung nakita ko siya, nung nalaman namin na may sakit siya, parang talagang it really broke my heart to see him like that in the hospital. Kasi we always know him as strong Coach Roger. Ma-pride, ayaw niya nagpapatulong, kahit na masama pakiramdam niya, pupunta pa rin yan sa training. Very committed Coach Roger. Sobrang daming energy. Kung kaya niya gawin, siya lang gagawa. Talagang ganun siya eh. Tapos makita mo siya na medyo helpless in the hospital and weak. Sakit sa puso. Parang never thought. And then it turned around, and then the miracle happened, and then yung zero cancer na siya, and he's still undergoing treatment until now. Alam mo yun, parang hindi mo, parang well, when you go back, and syempre meron din tayo mga heartbreaks together. Kasi, syempre, di kami nanalo ng championship noong time namin, di ba? So, medyo masakit yon. Pero parang, alam mo yon, when you go back, parang pag tinignan mo, sobrang valuable. I mean, lilitaw pa rin doon yung relationship nyo with each other and how you help each other rise up. Yun, kaya staying with him through yung cancer niya, visiting him in his home, seeing him slowly sit up, stand up, tapos meron na siya mga movements, tapos makulit pa rin siya, tapos nakikipagkwentuhan na kami, pero ibang level of life na. Yun siguro.
And his memory is still very sharp, Gretch. Kasi meron siyang naikwento sa amin. Meron siyang naikwento sa amin ni Den here on the show. Sabi niya, there was this one time daw, kinuha niya yung mga cellphones niyo, tapos kayo daw mga players, sinet niyo yung alarm madaling araw. So, nagtunugan daw yung mga phones ng sabay-sabay. Nagising sila ni Coach Parley.
Totoo ba? Ginawa natin yun?
Hindi mo na maalala, Gretch?
Baka hindi ako kasama dun sa prank na yun. Mabait kasi ako noon. Baka sila lang yun. Hindi ako kasama doon.
Galing.
Focus ako sa studies ko.
Showbiz. Joke lang. Well, the point is, Gretch, yun nga, lumakas si Coach Roger because of your help. I mean, you had that benefit concert for him, all for Coach Roger. And it's just your way and the way of his former players, the players who respect him, of giving back to the man that helped you girls grow into the woman that you guys are today. And it's also nice, Gretch, how you always look back. You mentioned a lot of legendary names. So we want to know, Gretch, we usually ask this on the show, like, what's the all-time best team? But like for you, siguro, as a player and as a fan, what is your all-time favorite volleyball team, so women's, for the Philippines? Like all-time, ha? It doesn't have to be the best team, but like your favorite. Like say, kung bubuo ka ng team, gusto mong panoorin kasi these are your favorite players. Could you give us that team, your dream team per position?
Pwede ba yung mga naparod ko dati?
Sige.
Pala ako. Well, si Charo Soriano.
Okay.
For one. Si Michelle Carolino, sobrang idol. Na by the way, nagko-coach na sa Ika. Wala. Ang swerte nila lang kaya.
Wow.
Ika ko eh. So, pinaparod lang namin siya, sobrang idol. Si Peñano. Charmaine, di ba? Peñano.
The libero.
Peñano. Oo. Manila Santos. Nasaan talaga ako noon?
Same.
Pero reveal nakakahiya. Hindi ko na maalala yung mga position na pwede bang favorite players ko na lang.
Okay.
Sige, magsama na rin tayo ng mga
Setter, Gretch.
Alam mo,
Favorite setter mo?
Gusto ko ma-experience si Gia Morado kasi hindi ko siya ever na-experience eh. So, tapos gusto ko yung tatarayan niya ako ganon. Sorry, Gia! Hi, Gia! And then isa pa. Si ano na lang. Wait lang.
Talagang pinag-iisipan mo talaga. She's really deciding on. She's carefully making her selection.
Ang dami na nagdaan. Si si Jovelyn Gonzaga na lang. Gagawin ko siyang gitna. Idol ko yun eh. Kasi galing ni Jov eh.
Yeah.
Sobrang nakakaaliw yun eh. Oo. Hindi, tapos sobrang humble ng mga volleyball players. I mean, alam mo yun, parang, na-appreciate ko talaga yung values and culture na tinuro sa atin. Yung kahit na anong team ka, para kaming isang solid volleyball community. Kapag may nangailangan, tulungan kami. Kaya nga yung nangyari kay Coach Roger, natural lang yun sa amin to really cover for each other pag may nangyari. So, proud to be part of that. Looking back. Tapos anytime na kumari may kailangan ngayon gawin, sobrang game yung mga volleyball players to step up. And kahit walang kapalit, sobrang proud, nakaka-proud. I think that's rare. Mm-hmm. Sa atin normal yun, di ba? Pero pag lumabas ka sa mundo, medyo rare yun.
It's a beautiful thing, like the volleyball community. Like, we're so tight-knit because we're just super small and we know each other. Like, everybody knows each other, basically.
And yung collective experience kasi natin, nasabay-sabay tayo umangat. Sana ganun pa din. Sana ma-maintain yun. Lumalaki na rin kasi. But I really hope that volleyball gets bigger and bigger. And we have, another thing that I'm proud of is that may mga initiatives tayong lumalabas, like yung kay Nicole Chamson, yung spike and serve niya, BVR, ano pa ba, yung Heroes Volleyball Program, yung kay Lagab na, anong tawag? Solid 7. Alam mo, I wanna see more of that. I'm excited. I feel like we have a growing volleyball culture and players are getting more empowered. So I think it's just going to be better down the road.
Well, Gretch, you made a name for yourself as a volleyball player. But not surprising though, you made your way into television. How was the transition moving from the world of sports to the entertainment industry? And what made you decide to give up your volleyball career? for a
Ano nga ba?
career as a TV host or a TV personality?
It was, I just felt like an athlete all throughout. I mean, I saw it as a sport to learn hosting, broadcasting, and I really liked that I didn't know anything about it. So I came in with a humble mindset and just wanting to learn from everything and everybody and knowing that I can improve myself. And I think that's so empowering that, you can be better and you can, instead of seeing yourself as somebody who's fixed already, ito parang sobrang gusto ko matuto, game ako to learn. And I knew how to deal with pressure already because of volleyball. Sobrang laking bagay yon na parang pagkahaharap ka sa camera, meron na tayong automatic na yung block off mo lahat ng tao, lahat ng noise. Yung discipline na yun, alam mo yung sumalang ako sa TV Patrol, sabi ko, okay, parang bola tong camera na to. Focus lang ako dito on my skills. Don't care about everybody. Don't care about Twitter, about people texting me. Game on, man.
Wow.
So, hindi, totoo, sobrang laking bagay nun. Kasi kung pumalya ka sa TV Patrol, baka hindi ka na makaulit. So, alam mo yon yung, I think, alam mo, sobrang na-prepare ako na maayos. Pati yung mga mistakes ko noon, hindi ko na inulit. Looking back, even yung the way I deal with people, deal with authority, deal with coaches, people who I work with, lahat yon ng training was so valuable to my success in the media industry. I won't say I'm there yet, but I've got a lot to learn, but it's been crucial. Also, the willingness to do what it takes to reach your goal. I think I got that from being an athlete. Other people will not accept, like, let's say, assignments that are difficult or assignments that are that will require you to get your hands dirty. Pero bilang atleta tayo, kahit saan mo itapon, kaya-kaya mag-adjust, mag-adapt, and to learn on the fly. So yun, sobrang yun yung pinaka-asset ko, I would say, yung pagiging athlete ko. And why did I give up my volleyball career? Maybe because I think we're called to different things in our lives. And I felt like at that point, nung naglalaro ko sa Petron, parang naging routinary na yung training for me. And I felt like God was moving me to a different season na taking me, dito ka na. And sabi ko, kung hindi ko i-full-time yung career na gusto ko gawin, hindi ako ever magiging the best that I would want to see. Kasi kung nag-volleyball ako at nag-broadcast ako at the same time, magkaibang lifestyle yon. And hindi ko siya masasabay. And I would always be, kasi kailangan payat ka sa TV, kailangan muskulado ka sa volleyball, bawal ka magpuyat sa volleyball, kailangan, late hours ako sa TV, hindi talaga siya kaya. So, I really had to give up one. And I felt like God was calling me to do TV work already. Kasi, yun yung sobrang excited ko, dami ko pang gustong matutunan. So, I think, yun yung signs ni God sa akin na it's time to move on to this. Yun.
Gretch, do you still recall your first ever professional hosting gig? And the reason I'm asking this is because the way you speak, and ever since I've known you, I can't think of something where you were in a situation na takot ka, that you were nervous, that you were scared. Wala akong maisip, Gretch. That's why, like, I want to ask you, like, professional hosting gig, yung pinakauna mo, like, do you recall it? And did you feel nervous at all?
Sobra. As in, alam mo nag-manifest yung kaba ko. Gumaganon ako. Mapapansin din. Yung di ba may hawak kong cue cards? Ganon ako ng ganon. Doon ko nilalabas yung kaba ko.
That's a very Gretchen thing.
Sira ulo ka.
So, anong hosting gig yon, Gretch?
Shucks. Miss Chinatown yata.
Ay, ang laki na agad.
Hindi. Di naman yung una. Hindi yung una. Pero doon ko nagawa yung ganon. Professional?
Or kahit like in front of a big audience, tapos nag-host ka na parang...
Sa Ateneo.
Ateneo. Okay.
kinakabahan. Wala akong confidence noon. Sobrang, pero kahit tao ko lang, pero talagang awkward pa ako, stiff. Naalala ko pa, nag-ano ko kay Sir Sev, kasi head namin siya eh.
Aha.
Tapos, pinagawa niya ako ng video sa studio niya. Tell me about yourself. Hinihingi ko pa sa kanya yung video kasi sobrang awkward ko noon talaga. I didn't know how to talk about myself. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to start my spiel. Talagang basta pangit.
That's how it starts though. That's how it starts. Yung mga maliit na ganon, like say when you audition for a commercial, di ba? They ask you to stand in front of the camera and say, could you say your name? Could you tell me about yourself? Stuff like that. But that's when you can see whether the person has potential to be a host or to be somebody who speaks in front of an
Hindi ko nga alam
audience.
kung may nakita silang potential sa akin doon.
Gretch, naalala mo ba, Denden and I asked you in our old show, down the line, we asked you, if you could have any show, what kind of show do you want? And then you said, I want to have a talk show. Kasi isa sa mga idol ko, si Tito Boy Abunda. And
Oh my God,
and can you believe, like right now, di ba meron kang show with
Oo.
Tito Boy?
Sobrang
It's
kilig ko, grabe.
my goodness, Pure Gold Sabado Bago live with
Yeah.
Boy Abunda. So I mean, that was years ago. And then you said you wanted to have a talk show, and now you have one with the King of Talk.
Yeah.
Like
Crazy,
wow.
man. It's crazy. Like, you know what happened recently? Kasi we had that show. Tapos sa phone ko, kasi bigla may tumatawag. Tapos, alam mo yung, sorry, I can't talk right now. Usually, hindi ako sumasagot. Pag hindi ko alam yung number, ini-end ko lang or hindi ko sinasagot. So, yung, buti na lang yung number na yun, nilagay ko, sorry, I can't talk right now. Siya pala yun! Nakakahiya!
What?
Ginanong ko siya! Hi, Gretchen, this is Boy Abunda. Let me know when I can call.
Oh my goodness.
Hindi, pero talaga. Tapos, competitive din kasi si Tito Boy. So, sobra siyang, detailed. Every part of the script, sinasala niya, lahat ng words and segments. Like, parang, whoa, like, this is the master, the yogi of hosting, man. Hindi, sobrang galing niya talaga. I'm learning a lot. That show, we just did one episode, and then we have 10 more up until next year, hanggang May.
Wow.
Oo, parang twice a month. So, it's really a dream come true to be hosting with him, to be bantering with him, to be learning from him, and seeing how he treats his talk shows, yung standards that he brings into the program. Galing, sobrang galing. And talagang pati yung yung stance niya, the way he talks, halatang idol na idol ko talaga yun.
Galing. Congrats.
Thank you.
Congrats, Gretch. Well, who knows? Maybe one day you'll have your own talk show.
Sana. Yun ay next na declare ko na dito.
Manifest.
Parang nagkakatotoo dito eh.
From down the line, you want to have your own talk show now here on Volleyball DNA? What do you want to have in the future, Gretch? Your own talk show.
Kids.
Gretchen Ho lang. Gretchen Ho. Late night with Gretchen Ho.
O, hindi ka nakikinig? What do you want to have in the future? Sabi ko, kids.
Kids? Okay, Gretch. How many?
Okay, no comment.
No comment. Well, Gretch, being, a host as good as you are, you've been everywhere. I mean, you've been to different countries and to different local destinations. What's your favorite local destination?
Local? Here, Philippines?
Yeah.
It would be, shucks, ang hirap ng tanong mo din, Ifugao and Batanes.
Okay.
Oo. Pero
Why?
bakit nga? Kasi ang ganda talaga doon, mga underrated. Ifugao, for one, we went there on a homestay, and sobrang nakakatuwa yung homestay kasi they will really welcome you the traditional Ifugao way. Meron mga sumasayaw, tapos yung local food nila, yung rice nila na doon mo lang mahahanap, papakain nila sa'yo. yung chicken nila, the way they cook it, doon nila, tapos pagising mo, doon sa, kung saan kami nag-homestay, yung rice terraces na sa harapan. Tapos,
Wow.
we went across pa dyan, kasama yung mom ko. Back and forth kami, ang galing lakas ni mami, kahit afraid of heights. And, it's so, the Philippines is so beautiful, but we just have a lot of underrated locations and places. And I hope this quarantine, this pandemic, will teach us to look more inward than outward.
Yeah.
And dahil ako, nakikita ko whenever I go out, na sobrang ganda ng Pilipinas and there's a lot more to tell. That inspires me to do more work to bring that out in my different platforms. So yun. Batanes din parang New Zealand. Sabihin ko, parang hindi mo nakita yung ganda ng Pilipinas kapag hindi ka pa nakapunta ng Batanes. Tsaka madami pa. Sobrang ganda talaga eh. Sobrang ganda ng Pilipinas.
Kaya namin natanong yon, Gretch,
Kasi,
is
dadalhin niyo
because...
ako doon.
Ikaw ang dapat magdala sa amin doon. Hindi, Gretch, kasi one of the perks of being on TV, di ba, is you get to travel for free. Di ba? Around the country and sometimes, if you're lucky, around the world. So you got to experience that. And one of the perks of being on TV also is you get to evolve into something that you probably didn't imagine, or maybe you did, like you became the prinsesa ng tikiman, tikim princess.
Wait,
Marami ka na.
tikim princess, wag naman yung tikiman.
Di ba ganun?
Hindi, kinorek nila, wag daw
Okay.
tikiman, pangit daw.
So naging tikim princess.
Tikim princess lang.
Okay, favorite local delicacy na tikman ni Tikim Princess.
Sobrang dami din.
Top of mind, like yun naisip mo, like what are you craving for right now?
Ube cheese pandesal.
Ooh, wow.
Ang dami ko natikman, sobrang daming kinds. Tuman panakota, just natikman ko lang nung isang araw lang. Sarap kay mga laudiko. Ano pa ba? Sinigang, traditional ako eh. Dami ko na natikman, grabe lahat na pinakain nila. And gusto ko lang sabihin yung backgrounder nito ha. Hindi ako particular with food when I started in the industry. I didn't know how to distinguish one ramen from the other, like which one is better. I didn't know. But then after you eat a lot of ramens, you somehow are able to know which is the good one, which is the so-so one. And I learned a lot from Umagang Kay Ganda. Sobrang dami. And even yung travel, alam mo nung naglalaro pa kami, hindi talaga ako makatravel noon. Sobrang strict kasi nung dad ko and parents ko. Ayaw nila masyadong umaalis, lumalabas. They would prefer like Tagaytay lang, ganun lang. So nung bata ako, travel deprived ako. And wala rin kaming time noon, naglalaro tayo, 'di ba? So grabe talaga si Lord. I mean, like, yun ang masasabi ko. You just have to sometimes wait for the right timing.
Yeah. And I feel like looking at your Instagram, like if you scroll back, go back the past 3 years.
Ang tagal mo, dami mo na tinignan sa Instagram ko.
I had to do that, because for this interview, and it was worth it, Gretch, because I felt like I was traveling with you when I was looking at those pictures and seeing all the places that you went. Which leads me to my next question. As somebody who's very well traveled, and as you said, it came at the right time. Most of these trips were with your family. Some of them were for work. Sa lahat ng napuntahan mo, like, could you give us maybe like a top 3 outside the Philippines, favorite destinations that you've been to?
London. Kasi I've been there. I've been going to London for about 3 years. And
that's number one? Number one for you, London?
Number 1 ba yun? For now, yeah. London kasi may side trip ako lagi. So yung una ko, saan ba ako nag-side trip? Around lang doon sa Yung second ko, pumunta ako ng Wales tsaka ng Scotland. Yung third, balik ko doon, pumunta ako ng Ireland. Tapos sana dapat, balik ko doon ngayon. This year, Spain dapat. So sobrang I mean, I love Europe because sobrang different siya from what we grew up knowing. Medyo American tayo, diba? So, yun dati, meron akong disconnect with European culture. But now, I'm so interested because they do things so differently. ibang-iba talaga yung kultura nila. At kapag umikot ka doon, sobrang foreign eh. Sobrang interesting. Even yung how their government works, yung welfare system nila, sobrang, parang nakaka-intriga lang. Tapos nanonood ako ng The Crown. Pinanood ko yung The Crown. Ko second time round, ang dami ko nang alam. Kasi nung una, wala akong alam at all. And by the way, nanakawan pa ako doon. So, yung experience ko doon medyo grabe. And then I visited the teammate of ours, si Patty Taganas, sa Ireland. She lives there now. She brought me around. And wala, yung sense of liberty going around Europe and yung napunta ko pa yung Harry Potter train station. Oo, totoo. Dami ko na talagang tapos yung umikot ako sa Scotland, I tried their whiskey. So, dami na lang interesting stuff. I'm excited to come back. Hindi ko pa nalibot ng buo. And then, gustong-gusto ko yung nakasuot ako ng, yung mga makakapal na, feeling ko.
Layering.
Oo, saya, enjoy. Sobrang enjoy. Second ko would be New York. I was supposed to study there this year also.
New York.
I love New York because
New York.
energy ng New York parang nakaka-high. You want to be like a go-getter and you want to be an achiever when you're there. Also, my favorite broadcasters are there. Alam mo, pumila pa ako sa labas ng Good Morning America. Diba? Mga 3 a.m. yata ako dumating.
Ang lamig nun! Oo, lamig nun. You were waiting. Wala pang tao. Ikaw ata yung pinakaunang nakapila dun eh.
Ganon tayo ka-eager beaver. Tapos yung kamay ko talagang red na. Kasi sobrang, yun nga, I was so determined to get into the studio and wala akong, waiting pass lang ako eh. So, yun, na-meet ko si Robin Roberts. I saw how they do morning shows, how professional they are. Yun, ganda. I really wanna come back there also. Third would be Australia. Ganda ng Australia.
Never been.
Underrated din ang Australia dito sa Philippines because we're always US, Europe. Australia, ang sarap ng pagkain nila. Sobrang sarap. Sobrang strict nila with bringing food into Australia kasi they protect all of their produce. They produce most of their food, yung milk, yung beef, yung gulay. Healthy rin sila kumain doon. Sa Melbourne, meron silang mga laneways, yung mga side streets na may mga maliliit na coffee shops. Tapos, yung bars din nila, they also have a lot of good wine. From New Zealand also, mga chocolates. Nagugutom na kayo, no?
I love dairy.
Pati yung education nila, ang taas ng standards. Kasi they brought me there to visit universities. So, isa pa yung option ko kung mag-aaral ako sa Australia.
Galing.
Wow. Well, hearing your top 3 favorite destinations makes me want to travel na.
You're making a list in your head then.
Maybe 2021, hopefully, we can all travel again. And speaking of 2021, the Olympics. The connect is, we heard big news that you were going to be the torchbearer for the 2020 Olympics. One of the torchbearers for the 2020 Olympics. How excited were you to hear that news?
Super. Like, it blew my mind. Syempre, makaparood ka nga lang ng Olympics, di ba? Malaking bagay na sa atin yan. To just be there and witness athletic greats is like, whoa. And yung torch-bearing experience pa, di ba? Kaya lang hindi ko lang alam kung matutuloy kasi may pandemic and medyo na-cancel yung sa amin. Pero they will contact us kung matuloy man. If ever, sana nag-hope tayo na padala tayo doon for coverage. Bosses! Come on! Bahala na. Pero yun ang dream ko, to be able to cover the Olympics and to come with our athletes and to, yung witness their growth, their journey. May chance tayo mag-medal itong Olympics, so malaking chance natin. So, sana talaga, sana.
Yeah, well, sabi mo nga, Gretch, God's plan. Like God always had the perfect plan, like with the rise of volleyball and everything. So, we just gotta have faith. I mean, the Olympics is a place where the best athletes in the world show up to compete. Speaking of world famous athletes, you've met a handful of them. I mean, I saw how crazy you went when we were in Charlotte and you saw Luka Doncic.
Grabe, no?
sobrang,
Ito, no?
sobrang kinikilig ka eh. I remember kahit ang layo.
It's really an experience of a lifetime, no? These coverages that we go to. Diba,
Yeah.
Anton? Yung parang, it brings out the inner child in you when you, like, dati nanonood ka lang ng NBA, tapos ngayon nandito ka na, nagko-cover. Alam mo yung, it's such a privilege to cover, not just watch, but to cover and to tell the story, and to tell it with such delight, and the way that you see it from your eyes. And the side stories that come with it. And so that's what I love about what we do. And yun nga, parang, kaya si Michael Jordan, yung makita ko lang from the stands. Crazy! Like, talaga.
I'm in the
God! Alam mo yung parang
after that, Gretch, sabi ko, okay na ako. I can quit my job. After I saw Jordan, sabi ko, okay na. This is what I entered sports for. Just to see the GOAT. Just to see the GOAT.
Tapos alam mo din, parang kung ma-realize mo lang, kung di ba nandun ka na, makita mo yung mga ganon. And then tayo, maintindihan mo, yung mga fans natin, di ba medyo ganon din? Parang alam mo it gives you that other point of view na from a fan na, okay, kaya pagka may lumalapit sa'yo, parang dapat, kung as much as possible, you entertain them. Kasi, ikaw na fan, alam mo, ang sakit pala ma-reject. Kasi, minsan na-reject na din ako sa interview. Yung hindi ako pinansin. Sino bang di pumansin sa akin?
Sino? Spill the tea. Sino yan?
Kaya hindi pala niya ako ni-reject. Yung bouncer niya, Leche. Si Kyle Kuzma. Kasi crush ko rin yun.
Wow! Kyle Kuzma! Oh my God!
Ginanon pa naman ako ng bouncer niya lang yun.
Wow.
So parang alam mo yung parang ang sakit-sakit niyo. Parang teka lang, I just wanted, soundbite. I just wanted a photo. Ang sakit. Alam mo yung, kaya parang sabi ko, we should always try to be kind and entertain everybody because we never know how that moment can change their lives. Like how it did us with Michael Jordan. Diba?
Gretch, ano mas masakit? Yung kay Kyle Kuzma or yung hindi nagpakita si Floyd Mayweather sa'yo?
Ay, nako.
Ilang oras kayo naghintay ni Andre?
Hours!
God, sobrang tagal. Para mga 2 p.m. ready na kami. Tapos mga 11 p.m. nila kinall off.
Wow.
Grabe talaga. Grabe.
So you never saw Floyd?
Hindi, pero alam mo, okay lang kasi yun yung experience talaga ni Floyd. Di ba? Nandiditch talaga siya. So we kind of got the real him.
Oh
diba?
my
The real
God.
Floyd
Oh
Mayweather
my God.
experience.
Oh my God. Even in interviews, he runs away, huh? Oh my God.
Oo, so parang, sino ba makaka-experience?
Shots fired.
Sino ba makaka-experience ng dinitch ni Floyd? Kami lang yun. Kami na ni Andre.
Okay, Gretch. Last, I mean, because we can go on and on about these athletes that you've encountered. Para sa akin, yung isa sa pinaka, like, dito ko makikita na sobrang tapang mo eh. Sobrang tapang mo, Gretch eh. You approach Shaquille O'Neal, larger-than-life athlete, at a club in Vegas. How did you do that? How did you approach Shaq at a club in Vegas? What's the story behind that?
Well, first of all, that was for JBL.
Okay.
So, I got the special VIP pass. And yun, wala, nilapitan ko lang siya. Tapos,
walang bouncer?
Hindi, kasi endorser tayo eh. So,
okay.
Kailangan take advantage natin yung mga ganong moment.
Okay. Grabe.
Yun. Tapos yun, I went near him. Tapos sabi ko, I'm from the Philippines!
Diba?
Yeah, I'm from the Philippines! So, I went there to Manila back in blah, blah, blah. Di ko na nga maalala kasi ang ingay. So anyway, basta parang sinasabi niya, it was a great experience, mga ganun. Yung kwento lang siya. Yun lang, pero hindi naman talaga niya ako sinabihan kung ano yung prospect niya sa LA team niya. Hindi, parang kasi, din nakakahiya din na, mga ganun, parang mga short encounters lang na, I'm a fan, I was watching you before, mga ganon.
But millions of Filipinos, just to have a moment like that with Shaq.
Diba? Pero ang napansin nila, yung nakatingin siya sa legs ko lang yan. Nakatingin lang po sa floor si Shaq sa legs ko. Pero yun yung nag-viral, ginawa pa ng meme. Mga Pinoy talaga.
Yep, Pinoy talaga. Well, for our next question, I think Anton will be the one to ask you this, because it's about your job in ABS-CBN.
Yeah. Hey, you were part of ABS-CBN too, then. But I mean, like, Gretch, I mean, you were saying like 7 years? Was it 7 years you were at ABS-CBN?
7 years.
Yeah. So like me, almost 11 years.
Wow.
So like
Lodi.
So I felt a certain way when it shut down. Obviously.
Nakaalaman ng age dito.
So it was a very heartbreaking thing, Gretch, and I think every one of us had his or her way to cope with losing their dream job, losing their family, and it wasn't easy because it was who would have thought that the biggest network in the country would shut down, right? And for it to happen during a pandemic. Like for you personally, Gretch, how did you deal with it? How did you cope with the unexpected situation that happened to us?
Sobrang hirap. I mean, sobrang heartbreaking. Like I remember one of the most heartbreaking was seeing the whole sports team sign off. I broke that news. Actually, somebody else broke it and then I reposted it and my post went viral and grabe. Naalala ko, iyak ako na iyak ng araw na yun. Tapos lumabas ako, tumakbo ako. Talagang tinakbo ko na lang yung frustration ko. Kasi, you have to understand na like, we were athletes who grew up also with ABS. We were given the platform and the time to showcase our skills on TV, on national television. And ABS-CBN was the one who bet on us from nothing. Kahit na hindi pa masyadong sikat yung volleyball noon, talagang tumaya talaga yung ABS-CBN on us. So, yung 7 years ko sa ABS, beyond pa, 'di ba? Yung playing years ko pa, plus 5 pa yun, 12 years yun. So, and also growing up, ito lang pinapanood mo, ABS lang. And yung makita mo lahat ng mga kasama mo na mga producer na from sports, and you just remember also how much impact ABS-CBN has made for all athletes to get their stories recognized. Grabe, masakit talaga. Magagalit ka, 'di ba? Pero wala nangyari na eh. I went to Los Baños for a retreat. I took 3 days to just because I didn't know how to feel. I was overwhelmed. I was tired. I was speechless. Like you felt defeated with the pandemic and then this and then tuloy-tuloy and then you just, I had to withdraw for 3 days and I prayed over it. And I think just God told me in prayer na, alam mo, parang itong past 7 years, years of our lives, who would have thought na mangyari to sa atin? It was all really God-given blessings na binigay niya sa atin, but we're not really entitled to it. Like, I speak from a point of view of a talent, not from ABS-CBN. Parang we're not entitled to this. And if God gives and He takes away, we still should praise him. Because if he blew our minds in the first chapter, he will blow our minds in the next chapter. So we just have to trust that that there's a reason working behind everything that's happening. We don't know it, but um, magpasalamat tayo sa mga nangyari, sa mga good things na nangyari. Lumipad yung ABS-CBN, naging matagumpay yung sports program. Lahat tayo nagkaroon tayo ng career. What happens next? I'm sure it will be an adventure, a roller coaster of sorts, but I'm sure we'll be fine. God has that chapter written already.
Well, we talked about it earlier na sobrang laking bagay talaga ng nagawa ng ABS-CBN sa sports community, especially for the volleyball community. We were able to share our stories, our journey as athletes and as, individuals, like your journey as Gretchen Ho of the Ateneo Lady Eagles, and part of your journey was ABS-CBN covering your journey in the UAAP, and because of that, you became a very prominent figure in the volleyball community and in society. Right now, you've taken an active role actually in society with your outreach projects. What fuels this passion of yours? To reach out to people.
I think I've always had the calling for public service ever since I was young. Kaya ako may minor in development management. Kasi hilig talaga. Nung bata ako, tumitingin ako sa mga magazine. Tapos, lagi ko binabasa Gawad Kalinga, Habitat for Humanity, JVP. Gusto ko pumunta doon sa probinsya. Tapos, titira ako doon. Tapos, hindi ko alam anong gagawin ko doon. Basta pangarap ko yun nung bata ako. Tapos, nagulat na lang ako, like, years later, I'm doing it in a different way. Telling stories, going to these people in different parts of the country and being able to bring the story forward. And kaya lang ayoko lang din siya matapos sa storytelling. Gusto ko magkaroon din ng impact dun sa pinupuntahan ko. Kaya ako sinimulan yung Women in Action and kaya ako sinimulan yung bike project. I was just supposed to donate. And then lumaki na lumaki yung project. Hindi ko akalain na magkakaroon ng ganong traction and people would really donate to us. So from 50, umabot na kami ng 1,000. We reached our mark this Sunday target. Just grabe talaga. Even the power of social media, the power of storytelling, and just posting and letting people know what you're doing opens their hearts also to these people that we need to reach out to. And I just wanted to, kaya parang di ako mapakali na nasa bahay tayo, na komportable lang, na walang ginagawa about what's happening outside. Just parang sa akin, this is war time eh. Alam mo yun, hindi tayo nasa normal time eh. This is, nung pandemya, anong ginawa mo para tumulong? Parang di ako masaya na, hindi ako talaga makontento na okay ako dito, tapos wala akong ginagawa as I see other people losing jobs. And that is so personal also to me, to us, na meron tayong mga kakilalang personally who lost jobs. Yung ABS-CBN shutdown. You know the feeling of losing a job. You know the anxiety that you get when you don't have work or livelihood. Kaya donate a bike, save a job. Diba?
And ultimately, you save a life. I mean, because
okay, napasok mo yun.
Naglaban niya.
Hey, I mean, sometimes you need your job to live, right? No, but the point is, Gretch, I mean, like earlier, you were saying how everything is connected, especially with you, specifically your life, like your upbringing, what you learned as an athlete with Ateneo, your studies at the university. It's all connected. Now you're using your leadership skills for donate a bike, save a job. And sometime in 2017, you took an interest in biking too. And you even biked in London. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, it's still your passion, Gretch. I mean, you love biking, you love to ride. Nag Toyota Vios Cup ka pa. Like, I don't know how you enter these things. Like, you're really fearless. But to see, I mean, this project of yours, like, siguro ang dami mga kwento, Gretch, na like, of people being so happy when you gave them the bike because now they have a means to go from one place to another, and now there are bike lanes like around various roads. So like what's one of the most heartwarming stories that you've had of a person na natulungan mo with your project?
Siguro yung nabigyan namin ng pedicab, ng sidecar, bike with sidecar. Hindi ko akalain na kaya namin yun eh. Nag-viral to, sila EJ and Mina Santos. They were walking pa sa may Novaliches. Bit-bit ni EJ yung asawa niya. Kasi apparently may dwarfism yung asawa niya. So binubuli sa bahay. So dinadala na lang niya habang nagsiscavenge. Scavenger kasi siya. Tapos para hindi siya mabully sa bahay. And then they requested for a bike with a sidecar. So yun, nakahanap ko yung supplier ko. Tapos dinala namin doon sa bahay nila. Yung bahay nila sobrang nasa ano lang talaga, yung sulok. Tapos ang daming basura sa loob kasi yun yung binibenta nila. Tapos nung binigay namin yung sidecar, to yung mga netizens din, nag-pitch in sila to give money for goods for sari-sari store. So yung pedicab na yun, gagawin nilang rolling sari-sari store. More than livelihood, I think it's dignity. Yung parang bigyan mo sila ng maayos na buhay, na pagkakakitaan, yung nirespeto mo sila, na meron din silang karapatang mamuhay ng may dignidad. Yun yung hindi mo mapapalitan eh, kahit na anong sabihin mo. So, yung maiyak-iyak na sila, nung nilapitan namin sila, talagang, alam mo yung si Mina kahit may dwarfism, talagang iyak siya talaga na, salamat sa bike na to. Yun, you change lives and grabe. It's you know, it's a blessing, it's a privilege to be the channel of blessings, to be able to be the mediator of yung mga donations ng mga tao, and to witness these stories and to see how it impacts them. So I want to do more of that moving forward.
I think this is what's so admirable about Gretch is she uses her platform, to help others and inspire people to take action. And ngayon na marami ng athletes have platforms, have reach, have followers, what message do you want to share to them, your fellow athletes, to use their platforms to share their passions and to inspire others?
Okay, one of the things that motivated me is wanted to prove in this project that social media is really powerful and we can use it to impact the lives of people in a good way. So I think my message is, more than influence, let's all strive for impact. It's easy to say things online, but when we bring those things, those learnings, and to create actual projects, actual things, actual actions in real life, that's when it becomes even more powerful. Influence kasi it's a word that's thrown around a lot nowadays. Ano ba yung influence na yon? TikTok, Twitter, trending. Ano yon, 'di ba? Ano yung ano niya? Ano yung dinudulot niya? If we can take it to the next level and actually impact people in this manner, ay nako, sobrang dami natin magagawa. Lalo na, alam mo yung isa pa sa mga gusto ko i-prove, people like me, I'm not super famous, I'm not super rich, but I was able to use my platform to deliver 1,000 bicycles. I was able to bridge people who had the resources and give it to the people who needed it. I was that channel nga lang. Pero if I can do it, then so can you. In your own circles, in your own spaces, kaya nyo rin. Kasi ako, blown away pa rin ako. Hindi pa rin ako makapaniwala. Nakarating ako sa 1,000 eh. Pero kaya nyo din yun eh. Kasi hindi natin kailangan maging sobrang yaman. Hindi natin kailangan maging sobrang sikat. Kung ano yung kaya natin gawin sa spaces natin and you multiply that, di ba? How many athletes in a team? How many influencers have massive following? Ang dami natin magagawa all together. And I think that's a good way to go with social media. Ang dami na kasing ang dami nang nangyayaring masama online. Fake news, trolling, bashing, cancel culture. If we can take it up another level. The conversation to another level. Ang ganda. Daming maibubunga.
Gretch, I just want to say that I respectfully disagree with what you said that you're not super famous.
Yeah.
But my point is you're very humble, you're very grounded. Remember those kids in Charlotte that saw your Instagram and they were like 1 million followers? That's her, right? That's her. So anyway, I mean, Gretch, it's good that you're using this platform for good, and that's one of the reasons that we're so proud of you. And you are being recognized with all the awards that you have won throughout your career, and you're still winning awards during this time. So we got to congratulate you,
Thank you
for being one of the top news personalities in the 7th Paragala
Oh my God,
Central
ang galing
Luzon
nito mag-research.
Media Awards.
Galing mo mag-research. Hindi pa ako nagpo-post nun. Nagpo-post ko pa lang yun today.
Ah,
Galing mo
talaga?
rin. Ito ka talaga, Anton. Saan ka ba pwedeng ma-hire? Wow. Baka gusto mo sa Mindline researcher. Charot.
Gretch, congratulations. I
Thank
mean,
you.
these awards, I mean, it's nice to be recognized for what you do. It's nice to have trophies to display. But for you, I'm sure it means so much more. Like, what does it feel for you, and what do these awards tell you about yourself? And perhaps maybe there's a message that you want to impart to everybody, like, who maybe feel like they're working but they don't receive any recognition, but at the end of the day, you're doing something good for the community.
Alam mo hindi rin naging madali yung yung news journey natin kasi medyo iba tayo eh. Parang hindi ako dumaan sa normal route na nag-reporter, field reporter, and then I submit stories but not every day. Then hindi tayo naka-assign sa coverage na araw-araw. So for me to get this award, it's a big thing for me. Especially with Abs-Cbn, that losing its franchise this year, me losing my show, my morning show this year, my main platform, and alam mo yon, parang napakalaking bagay sa akin na kahit papaano meron tayong nagawa, meron tayong na-build, and it's I think affirmation for me that I'm on the right path, that I should just continue what I'm doing. I think medyo iba na kasi yung digital media ngayon, yung social media world, the way people consume news, the way people consume stories, and iba na. And I try to do things also according to those changes. Medyo iba din. So, yung minsan naka-question ko rin na tama ba ginagawa ko? Pero parang ito yung affirmation lang, slight affirmation na, okay, tuloy mo lang yan, just keep on growing. And for those who feel like they're working towards something na wala pa kayo doon, or hindi kayo masyadong nabibigyan ng recognition, I think hamon lang yan ang buhay for you to be hungrier, 'di ba? Parang may mga hindi binibigay sa atin si Lord kasi gusto niya pa tayo mag-grow. So, I always see it as a challenge for me to be even better. I think if there's one thing that I brought with me, it's my competitive fire.
Yeah.
Diba? Tayo parang ako, determined ako to, pag may sinabi ka na hindi ko kaya gawin, mas lalo ko siyang gagawin. So, yun na yung way sa akin. Hindi mo kaya gawin yan. Lalo kong gagawin yun. So, parang wag kayo mapanghinaan ng loob kasi ibig sabihin, pinoprune pa kayo for your purpose, for your mission. And kung yun nga, tama ka, it's not about the awards eh. Parang looking back, sobrang mas proud ako doon sa achievement namin dito sa bike drive na to. More than the award. And I think yung strive for natin, more than the awards, yung magkalaman yung award natin para sa atin. Hindi para sa ibang tao, pero sa atin. Yung what it means to us. Like itong milestone, finally, parang yung meron akong nagagawang proud ako talaga. Pero yun, maraming salamat sa Paragala Media Awards. Talagang malaking bagay talaga to sa akin, promise. Sobra. And also, kahit na wala na tayo sa TV, 'di ba? Yung maalala ka nila, wag kayong mag-alala kasi I will work harder to be better.
Gretch, it's what you do. You don't do it for, recognition, for awards. It's really just all coming from the heart. And it's just super admirable. It's like, parang sports lang rin na, you play because you want to play. It's not because you wanna win awards. And speaking of, sports, is there any chance for you to go back to playing volleyball?
Go back to where it all began.
If there's one thing I make sure, it's that I'm always in condition enough to play anytime. Kasi ang dami ng liga eh. So may mga solid 7 na kung ano-ano lumalabas dyan. Basta ako, game lang, yayain nyo lang ako. Pwede naman ako magbaga. Pero yung professional volleyball, medyo sa sidestep muna tayo doon. Kasi nakakahiya naman sa inyo, nagtitraining kayo, tapos ibabalik nyo ako, tapos hindi ako nakapag-ensayo. Di ba? Baka pagbalik ko dyan, ma-injure na ako. Pero ano naman ako, lagi naman akong competitive. So, pero in terms of like doing it 100%, medyo iba na yung path natin. Mas gusto ko nang ikwento yung kwento ng mga atleta ngayon na kasi alam mo yung impact sa atin eh. Nung exposure na yun eh. Telling stories well, giving exposure to the right people who deserve it, you know how it changed our lives. And I want to do the same for our athletes.
We know that you've been doing that, Gretchen. You've done a tremendous job telling the story of the athlete, shedding light into the dilemma of people, and they relate to the stories that you share. That's why Den and I are so thankful for you to give us this time to share your story. Because while you've been sharing the stories of all the athletes, it would be nice to find out your story as well. And as you guys have just heard, Gretchen Ho's story goes beyond the game of volleyball. So thank you so much, Gretch, for this time. But like before we let you go, 2021, Gretch, 2021. We're gonna turn the page and open a new chapter. What's your words of motivation to everybody to hope for a better future in 2021?
Kala ko itatanong mo ano nasa bola ng kristal. Ano nga ba? Alam mo, 2021, I'm predicting it to be a crazy year. First of all, it's vaccine year. It's campaign year, secret campaign year, with elections. It's bounce back year for a lot of businesses, bounce back year for sports. So it's gonna be crazy. But we like crazy. We like crazy. So, ano nga ba? Just enjoy the ride. I think the worst is over. Hopefully, the worst is over. We've gone through a tough 2020 that has pruned us in many ways, showed us what really is valuable, who our true friends are, what we value, the people we value in our lives, and showed us what we have to appreciate that. So 2021, I think it's a magandang magsimula ulit. Magandang magsimula ulit with all of these learnings, better, wiser, more mature, and wag kayong mag-alala kasi I think it's gonna be better. Slowly. So, ang ano ko lang sa inyo is to just keep on fighting every day. Take it one day at a time. Don't look too far. Kasi pag masyado tayo malayo nakatingin, medyo pwedeng, alam mo yun, mawalan tayo ng pag-asa. Pero there is magic in every day. What you can do today. So yun lang yung nasa mind ko every day. What can I do today to make this day count? Because alam mo, sabi ko, if we can't find good news around us, if we can't see a lot of good things happening around, then let's create our own good news in our own circles. And that's what we did with Donate the Bike, Save a Job. That was also my way of coping mentally, emotionally, to 4 months being without work. Akala ng mga tao, kami lang tumutulong. Kami rin natulungan. We got ourselves busy instead of making the shutdown of ABS-CBN the headline of our 2020. We made something else the headline. And yung 1,000 bicycles, that means a lot to us to say na 2020, nakapagbigay kami ng ganito sa pandemic. That overrides all the bad, shitty things. This is online naman, di ba? All the bad, shitty things that happened in 2020. And for 2021, I challenge you to do the same. If you can't find good news around you, create good news because you can. You can. You're already powerful and there's so much you can do within a day. So, yun lang naman. Laban.
Wow. What a way to end our last episode for 2020. Then with the woman in action, our good friend Gretchen Ho. Grabe.
Salamat. Thank you. Good job also. Speaking of creating, good job on the show. Keep on creating. And I'm so proud of Denden. Pansin ko, laki na ng growth niya.
I love you, Gretch. Thank you.
Good job. Ay, married life. Next in line. Next na ako. Oy, Anton, ikaw pa next, hindi ako.
We'll see. Who knows what the future holds, Gretch? But one thing's for sure.
Don't look too far into the future.
Ay, ako pala. Day by day pala.
But keep changing the world, Gretch. Keep changing the world. Guys, thank you so much for joining us throughout the year 2020. And like Gretchen said, laban lang. And we'll see you guys in 2021. Merry Christmas and happy holidays.
Ho, ho, ho!
Happy New Year, everybody!